I'm Miss Rubino, for those of you who don't have me in class. Thank you so much for coming today to our special guest speaker. We are very lucky to have Mr. Bol Riiny today to talk about, go ahead. He is going to talk to you about his experience as a lost boy of Sudan, and I know in my classes we've been talking a lot about the event and the experience, and I've saved a lot of the details for Bol to share with us because he tells his story way better than I ever could. So let's make sure we are respectful, we are attentive, and any questions that you think of during the presentation, please put them either in your brains or you can write them down, and Bol will be happy to answer after in a Q&A session. Okay? So without further ado, I introduce Mr. Bol Riiny.
Thank you. Please thank her for coordinating everything. So I met Jackie about 5 years ago in events that I was invited to talk at, and that's how I got connected. And she has been trying all the COVID and things like that, with all the work that put in to make it happen, so she made it happen today. So I would like to thank all the teachers that made it here today. Also thank the community that you guys live in, and thank the ladies and gentlemen in uniform. It's a great thing to be, and also thanks all of you for coming in. I'll go through what happened where I was born in Sudan. How did I get out, and how did I came to America, and what did I do after I came to America? And try to relate it to what you guys have and what you go through every day. So, imagine if you close your eyes or turn off the light and things change for worse. The village was attacked while I was sleeping. I was about 9 years old. I had no idea what to do and when to do it. It was around 4 a.m. You can see some example of the village on fire. That's where I live. That's my life work. That's where I was born. That's where I left behind. I was forced to run for about 2.5 miles. I didn't know what to do. I was crying, looking for my mom, my sibling, and everything else around me. But I was told, Bol, you need to stop crying. It's not going to help you. The only way that we can do to survive is to try to get away here as much as we can to avoid what is going on. The more you cry, the more you get at risk. If your parents are alive, we'll find them. If not, we don't know what's the next thing to us, because our life is in danger right now. So I stopped crying, and I just looked around. There were some people like around the same age as me, kids, and there were a few adults who told us that this is where to go, and this is where to hide until things might come down. But it didn't happen. I started running. An example, whatever you have here, I was one of those kids. That's what the container that you use for water, for cooking, and for shower, everything that you have. And sometimes you use it as a hat to cover your head. You guys are so lucky you have a hat. Most of us didn't have shoes. There was no medication. And we're walking in the jungles. Whatever we have, that's what we got. The food that we eat is what we can find on the way. Dead animal or live animal, if we kill an animal, that's it. If we're lucky to find a dead animal, that's what we eat. And keep moving on. Sometimes we don't have anything like that. We have to just grab the leaf of the trees boil them, and try at least a bite out of it, just to get by. Because every day it's a different day. Every day you miss someone that you just ran away with. 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Life goes on. That's an example of running out where there's no light, no street light, and there's no sun. It's too early. And you're just trying to get out as much as you can, just to survive. 3 days after I left the village, I learned that 17 people didn't make it out. All the huts were burned down. They destroyed all the livelihood animals that we live on: cows, goat, and sheep, chicken. And then those people who were not lucky enough were taken slave. And those who made it out, we walked and walked, and everywhere we walked, we joined in more crowd. Villages being attacked to try and get rid of people, because people were starting to form a group that we could come and fight with them, and they didn't want that. So the more they kill us early, the better. What happens when you don't have parents? You don't have relatives. You form a network, groups of your friends that you can live with. Some of you here are friends with each other. You guys are high school. If your friend is a good liar, that's what you're going to remember in the next 15 years, 20 years. Oh, I know him in high school. He used to be a liar. I don't want to get in touch with him. But your childhood friends, you're not going to forget that. Your high school friend, your elementary school friend, sometimes you stick together. Sometimes you help each other. We became friends during our journey because we didn't have anyone else to help us, but we have to help each other. We support each other. If we have some water, we share together. If my friend gets a drop of corns, they pick up something on the ground, we share it together. If I get sick and the other one are okay, they can go and find something that I can eat while I'm lying down and tell me, "Bol, we have to move. We can't leave you behind." The only means of transportation is your mobility is to walk. If you can't walk, it's it. It's over. Imagine taking a school bus, going next town, and you never come back to join your friends, your family, your high school friend. It became a part of your life. You just keep running, walking. It took me 3 months to walk from Sudan. That's where I was born, around there. Wow. I have to walk from here all the way to Ethiopia. About 3 months. There was no road. Every time that we go closer to the road, we get targeted. So we have to walk through the jungles. So we avoid being killed, being attacked. And it became risky for wild animals, especially when you walk at night. The lion takes the person in front of you or behind you. There's no way to protect itself. As you can see, we're too young to fight lion at that time. We have no weapon to fight the lioness in fact. So we just have to stay together and just wait for your day to come. It's the time that we finally made it to Ethiopia. We were physically, emotionally drained out from walking 3 months. With less food you can think of, or no food, and suffering from walking. About 1/3 of us didn't make it. Either something happened to your foot while you're walking, a glass hit your foot, that's it. If you get sick on the way, that's it. You tell your friend that, so if you see my friend or my mom someday, just let them know I didn't make it. This is it. If you get sick from thing that you eat, that your belly didn't like it, it's okay. That's it. Because I don't know what's my next day. Next day is when same thing happened to me. but I just have to keep doing what I have to do. What motivates me? I have no other means. If I see other people walking, I have to walk. That's part of my life. I got nothing to lose. Because just a day, you pray God to make it to another day. That's it. If you can't make it, that's okay. That's the time that we actually made it to Ethiopia to go to school. How did I go to school? I didn't have privilege you guys have here. We went to elementary school. Everyone has to go to kindergarten, go to middle school, high school. Now you guys are finishing, you're going to college. No, in the village, I didn't have to go to school. I was growing up in the village. Not everyone goes to school. And for the rest, most part of South Sudanese. So, when I went to Ethiopia, I learned ABCD on the ground. I didn't have exercise book. I didn't have a bag. Forget about the shoes you guys are wearing. It was just on the ground, and I have to practice ABCD, and I'll be tested on it in the next 6 months, if I still remember to go to the next. It was only math and English, that's all they could teach at the refugees camp. Everything that we know is on the blackboard, and that you go and practice. You keep practicing it until your mind memorizes it. That's how life went. So we became family and friends to help each other, and that's how we managed to get away. So, in the refugees camp, when I was in refugees camp in Ethiopia, we had enough food. We were not in danger from local tribes. Everyone was okay with us. So when we came, in 2 years that I spent in Ethiopia, the war happened again. So we have to leave Ethiopia to walk to Kenya. That's about another 200 to 300 miles. And I already did 1,000 miles 2 years ago to walk. The time that I was coming back from Ethiopia to Kenya, I was a little bit older, but it was still. Things went bad too. And we came to Kenya. There was a shortage of food. We didn't have shelter. When you think of refugees, when you run away from here, if something bad happened here, you run to Mexico, they're not going to sit you in a hotel. They're not going to put you in a hotel. Who's going to pay for it? They're not going to put you in their houses. It's too many of you. And also they don't have a space for you. They're going to show you a ground, a field, behind high school, and say you're going to live here. You got to put your clothes together, whatever you have to be a shelter, it's up to you. That's all they can give. They give you the land to live. That's what happened when you become refugees. You lost everything. You lost right. You lost right to work. You run away from your country without anything. You have no money. And you are refugees. So wherever they tell you to live, that's where you're going to live. And that's what happened to us. So we had a shortage of food. Every food that we have is only given for 15 days. And if you misuse it, it's over. So, let's see. What's the best time to eat, guys? Morning. Any different answer? What's the best time to eat? No? Afternoon? Okay. Any different answer? Okay. What else? Okay, that's a good one. So we all can eat whenever we feel hungry, but that's not always the point. The point is when you need it the most. And we try everything that most of you mentioned, morning, afternoon, but it didn't work. The best time to eat is at night, so you can go to bed and sleep. If you don't have anything in your belly, you're not going to fall asleep. You're going to look at the sky, stars all night. There's no TV to watch. You don't have a computer. You don't have a cell phone. It's just simple life, and refugee's life, that the only thing that you have is a daylight. And the fire that you use for the daytime to cook. Nothing else. Remember, you are refugees. You don't get the privilege to have everything that you guys have. So, we eat at night, and then so we can fall asleep and be able to wake up tomorrow and just be engaged, either with your friends, play something, and move on. That's the life that I grew up in Kenya for 10 years. Some kids can play outside. This is how we temporarily made temporary classroom that we can, houses that we have to live on. It's called Manyata in Kenya. So you just cut the trees and tie them together, put the plastic sheet on top, and also put the grass because it's too hot mostly all year round. And that's where you could call it a house. That's where you live for 10 years. And so, when I came to the United States, I didn't know it wasn't going to be easy to come to the United States because it took a very, very long time. It was a group of my friends. So I stayed in Kenya for 10 years looking for a process to come to the United States, but it didn't work. It took forever because there were so many people trying to get here. And there are millions of refugees all over the world that were trying to seek, to flee or seek for asylum in the first world countries. So I was lucky enough to come in 2001. It's a group of about 4,000 boys and girls, 89 girls, lost boys and lost girls from Sudan. However, I came in at the wrong time when I came into the United States. I came in December, and I landed at JFK. It was 4 inches of snow on the ground. And I was coming from 110 degrees weather. I didn't know I was going to survive. I thought it was over for me. It was too cold. Everything was uniform, white. We came at night. We didn't dress for it. We didn't dress for jacket, no boots. And I said, is it New York the worst state in the country? Or we were told we're going to Boston, you guys are going to Boston. And we thought Boston is going to be California weather. We're going to be in 90 degrees, 100 degrees, and things like that. But hey, it didn't work. We came into Boston, it was 6 inches of snow on the ground. It was more than New York. And I thought I was going to die, but the family that hosted us, welcomed us into their house, had little kids. They go outside and play on snow, throw each other snowballs and things like that. And I said, okay. After a week, I was staying inside. I wasn't going outside at all. I was too weak anyway. But I decided to go outside after a week. Dress up and go outside and try to get used to what they do. And I got used to it. I drive in the snow now. I shovel the snow. I do almost everything you guys do in the snow. It's still very cold for me, but I'm used to it now. So another thing I went through, challenges, turn off light, turn off TV. I didn't have that. Forget about the computer. It was a shock. First time I turned on the computer was in high school. One of my friends introduced me into computer. Okay, this is the bottom of the press. It was a PC computer. And then this is what you turn it on. And that's how I learned how to turn it on. I mean, in 2001, not everyone has a laptop. Even the cell phone, we didn't have cell phone in high school. I got this first cell phone when I went to college. Most of my friends didn't have cell phone. We usually call a house phone. And the mom answered the phone, hey, what are you looking for? I was trying to reach out to Mary. Oh, okay. Mary will call you back later. So that's what it used to be. You guys are so lucky now you have cell phone and everything else. So I decided, culture was a big thing. Food was short. You go to the places that sell food, it's pizza, sandwich, things like that. I didn't used to it. I'm looking for the food that is corn, cooked, eat, meat. That's it. And I didn't recognize the food. It was a big shock. Language was different too. When I went to school in Kenya, we say hi, hello, how are you? You shake your hand. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Everything okay? I came to Winchester High School, just up south. Everyone that I see, hi, that's it. People walk away, hi. It's like they don't want to say hi to you. They don't want to say hello, ask you how you doing. They don't want to shake your hand. Okay, so I got used to it. So everything was a challenge for me. But I managed to finish high school in 3 years and went to college, Concordia College in New York, Brownsville, New York. It's about 15 miles up north of New York. And finished with a degree in business, minor in finance. And I decided to go back to the village, where I call home. I didn't live there that long ago, but I still call it home. That's where I was going. That's where my mom and everyone else is in. So, and in the village, kids still don't have a school yet. So, the close by school is about 2 hours. 1 hour to walk and 1 hour to come back. It's too far for a young kid. There's no school bus, no bike, nothing. You just walk. Some of them walks once every month and then they get sick and stay home. And that, I decided to know, you know what, it's time to come back and raise some money to build a school. And so that they can go to school close by. And boys and girls. And so these kids who can play with their feet all day around, they don't learn anything from it. It's better for them to go to school. And that school is working now. It's about 10 years now that school has been working. It's a small school. It's not the same as your school, but it's something similar. They learn. And that's what you always think of. It's not always about yourself. Try to help someone else. Try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. We're all different. We have different height. We have different skill. We have different skill. But we're all different. We're all talented in something. And we all can contribute by helping others, by helping ourselves, by focusing, by having goals and means, what you want to achieve in life. So, where I come from, it's called Dinka. It's a tribe in South Sudan. We're very tall. But most of you, it seems, most of you are very tall here too. And the average is about 6 feet tall. And what we love cows. You guys maybe love cats and dogs, but our favorite animal is cow. We're like people of Texas. You don't have them, I cow, you own it. It's like personal. It's like you say, oh, how much money do you have in a cow? No. Cows is everything for us. Everything we do is a cow. So, when I went back to the village, so I still went back to check the cow, if they're still there. Some cows are still there, and people still love the cow. And I was around the cow. I was so happy to be back in the village. And then that's at school. It's a 4 classroom that was during construction. People in the village helped, and then we put it together. That's the 4 to start, and they're all happy, and I'm happy. And it's a contribution. So every day I wake up and I hear them that they went to school, I feel good. I feel I contribute something to the community. And we all could do, one way or another. So, in my school, I didn't have water, running water. It's in the village, it's in the remote, it's the countryside. They don't have running water. So, there's a book written by one of my friends, Salfadut Moyen. It's called Long Walk to the Water. It's one of the lost boys. I met him in Ethiopia. We stayed in Kenya together, in refugees camp. We both made it to the United States. He settled in New York, and I was in Boston. So, with that connection, it helped to build the wealth in the school so that the construction can go on without running out of water. It's also used by the community for consumption of drinking water and the animals and everything they do that need water. And during school hours, it's used for school. That helped a lot. And it was the book that he wrote, Long Walk to the Water. So people in the village, girls, women, everyone that who collected water, they walk for hours just to go and get the water. Sometimes they use 10% of their water that they just go and collect it by walking an hour. They have to bring every time they have to stop. And then someone else that walking with no water, thirsty, asks, please can I have some water? Because they need some water. You stop and give it some. By the time you get home, it's less than what you started with. And that's a part of life. So Zelfo came up with that idea to raise money and build wealth where needed in South Sudan mostly. And that's called, the book is called Long Walk of Water to Water. And you guys didn't write it, but it's a good storybook that you can read and also similar to what I went through. And some other elementary schools around the area read it, so that's why I'm mentioning it to them, because they're going to watch the video that I have today. And they can share, they can relate it to what they learned in Long Walk to Water. Anyone, you guys play sport? What do you play? Volleyball. Anyone else? You? That's good. Anyone else? What do you play? Okay, that's great. That's what U.S. is leading. U.S. is so good in all this sport. They're all good. Football, baseball, basketball, volleyball, tennis, ice hockey, skating, everything. Because we have everything we need. We have freedom to play anything you want. If you don't like it, you leave and join the other team. That's the privilege. Not everyone has that in the rest of the world. Some countries, they only offer one sport. Like most of the world, they offer soccer. Yeah, they call it soccer, and the rest of the world, they call it football. That's what you have to play, because that's what the country can offer. But here we have everything. As we're speaking, the basketball is, South Africa doing well if you play basketball. Number one or number two in the East, that's good for the NBA team. Most of the team are better now. They will go to playoff. But what's going to happen, it depends on if they stay healthy, if they can play well. They can go all the way. Like they did last year, they went to the final. That was a good thing. Another thing, the Bruins are doing excellent. The ice team. I feel like they can beat the Canadians. Because the more you go up north, the more you can play hockey. The farther south, the more you can play soccer. Because that's how nature is. It's colder in the north and warmer in the south. So it's a good thing. So we might celebrate their championship if they make it all the way, if they stay healthy and play the way they play. However, you guys recognize this team? No? That's my home country team, South Sudan. South Sudan got independent from Sudan in 2011. Most of you are older than my country. And out of 54 nations in Africa, we are the youngest. But we made it to the FIBA the World Cup. The next World Cup that everyone is going to go holding their flag for their country. The U.S. is going to go with the basketball, soccer team, everything you can imagine. South Sudan is going to come with its basketball. These guys are proud of their country. They want to put their country in the map. Undefeated in Africa. And this is the first time they made it to the World Cup. And because of help of a former NBA player, Bol Riiny played for Chicago Bulls for about 9 years. Played for Miami Heat, LA Lakers, and then he retired from NBA, but he decided to go to Miami Beach and stay there and enjoy his retirement. He went back to the village, to the South Sudan, to the country that need him the most, and start training people how to play basketball because he has knowledge. He came to UK when he was like 5 or 7 years old as a refugee, and he started playing outside of the parking lot. There was no basketball hoop. Until he got better and better, he was drafted by Dukes, and then he went to NBA. He went back to the village, and he trained them. And that's why these boys now are undefeated to go to the World Cup. So they might play US. It doesn't mean that they're going to win, but they're going to do their best. So that's the end of PowerPoint. I'll leave the PowerPoint there. And things that I went through is a determination, hard work. I learned through hard things to go through to achieve something that I can do in life. I decided to make a decision when I was 9 years old because I didn't have any parent to tell me this is what you have to do and this is what you can't do. I wasn't with my father. I was a refugee. So whatever I decided to do, I have to stick with it. I have to be committed. I have to do it. If it's bad, I made that decision. If it's a good thing, that's what I do. And I always feel like there's nothing going to be worse than what I went through. Because I see a lot of bad things. Leaving my friend behind and telling me to die at home. Saving my friend from dying from shorting water. They misused the water. I gave them some of my water. And they got up sweating. Thank you, Lord. And I tell you, walk. Let's keep walking. Things that it might not make a lot of sense to you, but to me it means a lot. When I go through bad things, I always switch it up and turn it into what a good thing that I did. And that helped me to get through bad things. And I always feel like I can do better than what I did. And that's a goal. And that's achievable for most of you. With this, you guys have the technology. You guys have the best teachers. You guys have a great community. You have the library. You have everything that you need. What else do you want? You can change the world. You can be a global citizen to help people that would need help in Somalia, in Yemen, in Ukraine. You can be an ambassador for the world we live in. You can help your neighbor struggling with snow. You can help your neighbor lift up the heavy bag of trash that they can't do. If you see something fell on the street, you pick it up, you help your community. With that, I'll ask some questions. Any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Were you able to see your parents again after you left?
Yes, that's a very important question, yes. After I came here to Winchester High School, I worked at the grocery store weekend. And most of my friends used to say, hey, Bo, why do you spend on your weekend working? How are you going to have fun? And I said, no, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Because I was doing soccer, running track and fields while I was in high school. And then on the weekend, I worked at the grocery store. So I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was, and that's why I say I'm determined to do something. I feel like, you know what, even though I'm in high school, I have a place to live, I have everything that I need for school, I still have to work to help those people that I left behind, to help find some of my relatives that I don't know where they are. So with that money that I made, I saved a little bit of it, and then some of it I sent it back to the camp, to my friend that I left behind, and say, hey, can you travel? I have money for you. Can you travel to the places where you can find someone in my village, in the community, that who knows my family, who have seen my family, who have seen my relative, so we can get connected. And most of my friends did all what I told them. And they finally got into connection with my brother. So once I talked to my brother, I gave him some more money to look at every refugee camp, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and Congo. And he managed to bring all the relatives back. And my mom and dad were there. My uncle didn't make it. Some of my aunt didn't make it. Most of my siblings survived. So they put them back into the displaced areas. And I keep sending them money when they need it until the Civil War was over, so they went back to the village. In 2008, when I went back after college, I met them finally. It was a cheer. They knew that I was alive when I was sending money, but they didn't know that I was going to be able to go back to the village, to see them, to be with them, to feel the love that we missed for years and years, to feel the disconnection, to be connected again. So some were crying, and some were laughing, and some were just looking at me. What do you do in America? How's America? How can I get to America? Did you bring me some money? And I said, in America, it's not easy to get money. You have to work so hard. And I was in school. I didn't make a lot of money. But even though if I work, it's everything that I do is still going into the bills that I have to pay. I have to pay for the rent, I have to pay for transportation, I have to pay for my cell phone, and everything that I need, I have to pay for it. So, well, you gotta work harder. Next time you come back, you need to bring me something. Okay. Camera, something like that. So it was great. So I finally met my parents, and I was so happy that time when I went back to the village. Any other question?
Which records did you break in track?
What was the question again?
Which records did you break in track?
What track record did you?
Oh. That's a good question. That's a very good question. So, I have a record for cross country. I only ran 1 year for cross country. And I set a record for about 6 years, and someone passed it by 2 seconds, about 7 years ago. And that was my high school cross country. For the track, for the relay, I think my name is still up there with 3 other guys in Winchester High School. They know me very well. And the first thing, the funny thing is that when I came to Winchester High, the first day I came to Winchester High, the coach invited me with my cousin, and they said, Bol, let's go to track and field. We have a meet today at Regulus. So I went into the school bus, I went and sat down and watched people competing, running, and they were so fast. I couldn't believe that kids can run that fast. And coach looked at me and he said, Bol, are you going to join the team? I said, no, I can't join the team. I only run for danger, for something killing me. It's not like I don't run for fun. I can't compete. And he said, Bo, that's what I'm here for. I'll train you. I'll be a good runner. And I look at him and say, oh, come on. And then, so I said, okay. So I joined track and field. I was the slowest guy on the team. I was running with the girls, the slowest one. For a week, I was so sore, I couldn't move. And one day the coach would follow me back with a car and say, in case he get lost because he doesn't know the area. Or if he fall down, I'll pick him up. And I just keep pushing it. After the second week, I was running with the guys. And the third week, before the meet, I was catching up with the fastest guy. So when we first set for our first meet, I came in the first place. I didn't know I was first until like everyone was clapping. And I said, okay, that's a good thing. And then the coach decided to put me wherever they need me, in a mile, half mile, 200, wherever you need me, wherever they have the fastest runner. Bo, this is the guy that you're going to face today. Okay. And that's what I did. And at the end of the year, I was invited to go to All-State. It was me. There was no school at that time. I was the only one. So the coach came to my house and picked me up and drove me to Regents, the state. And then the second year, and my junior year, I was invited. I got an invitation later to run in 204 Olympic to try out. Again, I'm a refugee. I didn't even have a citizenship that time. I had a green card. I can't travel with a green card to go overseas. I didn't have money to pay for the coach to train me. I didn't know that there's certain food that you have to eat to be able to compete. So I didn't go. That is a determination. You guys can do it. Any one of you can do it. Because I was practicing by myself. The coach tells me what to do, and then I do it. And after everyone else, I just go out and do it. And the best part is when we're almost starting to race, you just stay like this. Either the guy on my left or on my right. So, oh my God, what a day. We're running with Kenya. That's it. So they thought that I was from Kenya. And I said, okay, that's a good thing. It helped me a lot. And every time I'm competing, I say, you know what? These kids are going to say, you know what? He's Kenyan, so they're not going to compete as much as they need to. So I'm just going to take that advantage, just to be the fastest guy. But I'm not from Kenya, but I'm from Africa too. The African can run. So that's what I did. And I got some of my scholarship when I went to Concordia College to do track and field, so it helped me with school. So it helped me a lot. So, and it helped me too to stay in shape while I was running. Now, I run a little bit, but I'm not as much as I used to. Any other questions?
Bo?
Yes.
Wow, I'm sorry for being so loud.
No, that's fine.
First of all, thank you so much for coming here and sharing your experience. What I am extremely interested in is at 9 years old, your life was turned upside down. People were sweeping through your village. You saw, not on a movie, but in your real life, unbelievable horror. And you kept walking, and you kept, you almost like mentioned walking through the jungle at night with no protection, and there are real lions, and there are real animals, and there are real people trying to track you down. You finally somehow miraculously come to America. My question is, what was inside your soul that wanted you to go back? Most people, when they grow up in poverty, they leave and they don't go back. Why did you go back to your village, the source of all your pain, all your suffering?
That's a very, very important question. Thank you so much for doing that. So the only thing that I mentioned, I remember about the village, it was the lively hall, where I used to play with my brothers, sisters, friends, taking care of cars, little young ones, and living simple life in the village. And it was taken away in just a matter of a day. When I saw the tents, the army in gear, and the fire, I thought that's not the way, that's the only way, that should have been the only way that I could remember the village that I left young. I need to go back. I was the first person in my village, it's about 500 people, to finish college. And that gave me hope that I should go back to help those kids that didn't make it to the United States. Those kids, their parents didn't make it out of civil war. So South Sudan civil war lost 2.5 million lives, either by disease or being killed during the war. And it displaced over 5 million, and that's including me here. So, if I can go back to that village, there's no one going to change the village. There's no one going to help those who need help in the village. The kids that their parents don't have money to send them to school, they will never get to school. They will never do anything that the hope that they need to change their life is to go to school and be able to help themselves and have the parents that raise them and also help their community. That's what made me go back, is to go back and help. Because I saw the most beautiful life here, I said that's not the whole thing. I have to remember where I came from. And that's the village that I came from. I have to go back and do something. And that's what I still do every single day. I feel like I should contribute some more if I can. And that's a goal, and I'm trying to accomplish. Yes. So, how did I survive? And how did I manage to survive? So, I wouldn't be able to tell you that how I survived. Is every time that I see something coming to me, I run as much as I can and try to hide. B, I wouldn't say I was smart enough to survive. No, I was lucky to survive. I never give up hope that today is my day. I always feel like, you know what, it could be tomorrow. And I just have to do what I have to do today. If people are eating leaf of the tree today, I'll eat it. It's not because it tastes good, but it's just to survive. If I have some water, I usually hide them in my clothes so people don't attack me, because if they run out of water, I have to keep them so to survive. Until I run into water, I pour them out, the one that I have, it's too hot, and they're dead anyway, and then take the new one. And that's how I've been living. Even today, the water that I have here, I'm gonna make sure that I finish them today, because water are very important, and I don't wanna waste it. I've seen like people leaving the half bottle, some dropping them, they just take a sip of it and then drop it. It's a waste. And water is very valuable. Everything that I have, I always make sure that I have to stay with the team. I have to stay with the group. If those kids are walking, I have to walk with them, because there might be something gonna save us. If we are running, I have to run with them. And I'll never give up. And teamwork, that would help me. Having a group of friends that we help each other together, that helped me the most. And I think that's what made me come out among the few who made it out. So, you're welcome. Any other question? Yes, go ahead.
So what do you do for a living now?
That's $1 million question. So, I do a lot of things. I work full-time in downtown Boston. It's a residential buildings. I do translations for those South Sudanese who are living in the country. They still don't speak English and they need help. I help them either through medicals, through law firms that need translation. Also, I have part-time. It's optional job that every time that I'm free, they text and send me an email or text message, say, hey, Bo, we want to pick up some hours downtown Boston this weekend from this time to this time. If I'm free, I say, okay. If I'm not free, I say, no, I can't do it. Okay. It's no obligation. And I had to go to Boston, drive to Boston. And that's what I do. So most of the time, I'm busy doing something. And if not, then I go out and do some fundraising for my school that I have in South Sudan. Whatever little money that we get, we send back so to help supplement teachers and also buy school supply that they need. And that's what I do. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned that boys had formed families of their own. Did you have one?
So boys have their own family of what? Oh, groups?
Yeah.
Yes, I was in a group of 10, and that helped me a lot. So we help each other. Every time that we see something, either something good, we're always going to help each other to go through. So one of the things that she brought up, most of my friends, when I was in Ethiopia, they settled us next to the riverbanks. So we have run water. We have access to enough water. So we walk to go and get the water and use them where we live. However, you guys, did any of you get some swimming lesson? You guys have, you know how to swim? All of you? All guys, you're so lucky. It's true, you're so lucky. It's one of the best things that you need to have a license, to have a swimming lesson, to know how to swim, because you never know when you're going to run into the water. California was dry for the last 30 or 40 years, and now it's flooded with water. If you didn't know how to swim, you might get drowned. So when I was in refugee camp in Ethiopia, I didn't know how to swim because I didn't have any lesson in my childhood. I was a refugee. I wasn't with my parents. So the only way that survived me most part is learning how to swim with a group of my friends. So what I did, we didn't have mango trees. I love mango. That's a fruit that's a tree that I grew up under. And there were few mango trees on the side that we were living at. And on the other side of the river, there was more mango trees. And I need a mango to eat, to feel the fresh, to feel the taste of fruit. Because there's no apple, there's no orange, it's nothing. Orange, it's nothing. The only food that we have is corns and beans. Nothing else. The fruit don't come. The UN doesn't give you the fruit. So, most of my friends who knew how to swim, they crossed to the other side of the river and get some mango trees, mango fruit, and eat some of it on the other side, and then come with two. One in the other hand and then the other on the other hand, and then swim across the river to the other side. And I asked them, please, can I have one? No. Well, sorry. The mangoes are nice and fresh on the other side. You need to know how to swim, how to cross the river. That's the only way that you can get a mango. And the mango that were on the side that we were at, we eat them green, and they're not tasty. They're not good. everyone eat them early because everyone has access to it. And majority of people were afraid to cross the river because they didn't know how to swim. And I thought twice about it, and then I decided one day, you know what, I have to learn how to swim. So every day I try to go to where my friend James is and come back. Go back and forth. For a week, even I go half, and then he still come back. And then the following week I decided to cross. I was afraid because there's a crocodile in the river. Always take people. And that's what I was afraid of the most. It's not about being drawn. I mean, I could get drawn because I wasn't a good swimmer, but there was a crocodile. Every time they take someone, we all run out of water and then go home. And then the next group will come in that didn't know anything about what happened, and they just keep swimming until someone gets hit by a crocodile. And B, I need the mango so bad. So once I cross to the other side, every day I come in, I just close my eye and say, you know what, I'm just going to cross. And maybe crocodile is not going to look at me. When I see a lot of people jumping in the water, I jump in with them, and then we cross. So I learned how to swim that way. And when we ran out of Ethiopia, crossing the border between Ethiopia and Sudan, it's called River Gilo. Majority of people didn't make it out that day when we were running. There was a bullet on the other side of the river shooting, and the other side is water. And people assumed that they could just cross, but they didn't. Majority drowned. They thought that they were going to swim, but they didn't. We tried, the few of us who knew how to swim, tried as much as we could to help those who didn't know how to swim, but it was too much. I was so exhausted because they jumped on top of me and they think that it's just going to carry them. No, you can't carry them in the water. You have to dive in deep into the water so they come up and grab their feet, and that's how you drag them out of the water. And after a while you're doing that, and you get exhausted. So we just let it go. You see someone in and out maybe 2 or 3 times, that's it, it's over. That's my memories of swimming. If I didn't know, I wouldn't be here. And that was a teamwork of a group of my friends who knew how to swim. Taught me a tough lesson that they didn't want to share the mango with me, but pushed me to know how to swim. So if any one of your friends doesn't know how to swim, please encourage them to know how to swim, because you never know when you're going to fall out. Yes?
Did you put your business major you wanted to send your empowering message to like students and around the world?
It's part of. So if I did, I could say.
I said, did you pick your major in business to send like your empowering message around, for high school students and like around the world?
So I took the business major. It's part of it, but I took a business major because it was so powerful to me that I could present, I could talk in front of people. I can always try to sell something. And with trying to sell something, you always have to be happy, be passionate about it, and be confident. And that comes with leadership of business. And I thought, you know what, if I go back to the village and do business, or in the country of South Sudan to do business, I could be a global businessman. I could do international business, I could do local business, and I could help a lot. And that's what made me do what I did. And then people ask me when I was in college, oh, Bol, can you come and talk about school to this and this? That's how I pick up a lot of talking. I spoke at the United Nations, I think it was 205. 205. And it was good. It's a big crowd. It was a big crowd. But I managed it. And I've been doing that for now. Any other question? Yeah.
Was there a time you wanted to give up?
What was that again?
Was there a time
that's a time, that's a lot of time that I try to give up. And then I look back and I say, you know what? Why do I have to give it up now? And look at what I went through all this lifetime. If I give up now, and who's going to help my mom? Who's going to help my sibling? And everyone else in the village or in my family, they always look for me. When something good happens, they always want to reach out to me. When something bad happens, they always reach out to me. If I just give up, I give up their hope to their life. And there's no one going to help them around. And then I say, you know what, I shouldn't give up. I just have to push it. And live with it and try to learn something positive about it. And forget about the negative and move on. And that's what I've been doing. We all have some difficulties in life. We all have some situations that it's hard to go through it. But if you push hard and you look at the positive side, you'll always manage to get away with it and move on and turn it into something positive. And that's what we should all do, because we all have some problem. And by solving the problem, it's not by getting into another problem. It's by getting out of the problem. That's the beauty. And you can do it through your friends, through your teachers, through your parents, through anyone that you trust, even your girlfriend or boyfriend. Someone that you trust. Share with them, and they might help you get around it. And sometimes when I need help, I call my friends, and we talk, we share a lot of stories, and then I laugh, and I forget. I move on. Any other question? Go ahead.
Were you attacked by any animals?
I was so scared by a lion in the village first. The lion came and attacked the cows, and it was hiding in the bush. I didn't know, I was just walking around. The lion came out and scared me, and trying to run into me and then stop. It became a nightmare for me for at least a month. I was crying every night. I see the lion while I'm sleeping. And my mom used to calm me down and say, oh, it's okay, there's no lion. And that was one of the scariest. Second thing, there was when the lion attacked one of my friends while we were walking. I was shocked what to do. I was trying to run, but I couldn't run because where am I going to run to? A, there's no light. B, if I run into the jungle, the forest at night, I'm going to get lost anywhere and then die. Or another lion's going to find me. So I just stick and say, you know what, let me just walk. And one time I was walking late at night in a group, and for some reason, I don't know where the lion cut off. So I was left in the middle. I couldn't find the people behind me. There was no one. And people in front of me were too far. I fell asleep. I was walking, it was around 2 a.m. I thought that was it. I thought it was over for me. So, I thought that, should I run back? Or should I run front? So I decided to run front. I just run and run and run. It's about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then I got the troops. I said, oh God. I said, God, thank God, I listened to people. So from that day on, I never fell asleep while people walking at night. And then I always try to manage to be in the crowd of people, because if the lion's going to attack us, it might not be me first. I could be the last person to get attacked by lions because I'm in the middle of people. But sometimes when people run at night, they run into each other. We always help each other. And some people missing their teeth, some people missing their eyes, broken bone. Sometimes people run over you and then that's it. It's over. It's a lot of people. When we left Ethiopia, when we were going to Ethiopia, it was about 13,000 people walking. Imagine if something bad happened and 13,000 people are running. It's chaos. You could hear the noise everywhere. Sometimes I drop, if there's a tree, I just grab the tree and hold on to it. So people don't run me over and run me into me. Or if I can climb up, I can climb up until everything calms down. And then I just go down. And those are survival modes that I learned while I was walking. There was a challenge. But you learn sometimes through tough time. Yes, any other questions? Yes. Go ahead.
How did you know about the refugee camps in Ethiopia?
Well, that's a good thing. How did I know about the refugees camp? When we left the village in South Sudan, there was I have cell phone with GPS, everything you can think of that detect the location, where I'm going, and where I'm coming from. Now, we didn't have that. There was no map. There was no sense of direction. We were running out of the village to survive. And we were told some people went to Ethiopia, which is another country. How do we get there? Well, we're just going to walk. If we're walking to Boston, we're starting walking from Mathuntia to Boston. We don't ask, how do I get to Boston from here? We ask, how do I get to, is that Handover? Next time. And the people from Handover will tell us, okay, how do we get to Reading? They will tell us how to get to Reading. And then the people from Reading will tell us how to go to Stoneham, and then from Stoneham to maybe to Winchester, and then from Winchester to Medford to Cambridge, and then to Boston. That's how we get around. We only ask the next village, the next time. And finally, we crossed to Ethiopia. Once we got into Ethiopia, we were told that this is where the refugees are going to stay, in the camp. And that's how we got into the refugees camp. So there was no road that we were following. There was no GPS. We were just walking in the jungle, just toward east, where the sun rises, and we're coming from where the sun sets, until we crossed to Ethiopia. There was no set route that we have to follow. There was no set time to travel. It's whenever safe, that's when we start traveling. And that's how we get into Ethiopia, refugees camp. It was a mess. It was a mess. Any other question? Yes?
Who motivated you and inspired you to have a positive mindset?
What motivated me? What motivated me, it was friends that were walking with me that never gave up.
No, my question was, who motivated you and inspired you to have a positive mindset throughout the whole time?
That's a good one. So, what motivated me, who motivated me to be who I am today and inspire me? It's, I was motivated by the people that I was walking with. The kid that never cried. The kid never complained about anything that's suffering. It was one of my friends, Dave. It was like maybe a couple months younger than me, but he never complained. You never see a bad feeling on his side. He's always positive. And he always just tell us, okay, let's do what we need to do. And that helped me a lot. Because I always feel like, you know what, I'm a little bit older than him, I'm a couple of months older than him. But if he can do it, I'll have to do it. And we managed it. To go to Ethiopia, and then from Ethiopia to Kenya together, and then from Kenya, we made it to the United States. And we're still good friends. That helped me a lot. We both went to college and we finished, we all finished college, and we're working, and we're helping others. And that is my motivation. So having a school in the village, kids going to school, and having hope that something is good, they're going to learn to help each other. it motivates me a lot. And that's we all should do to help others. To find something motivating, to find the goals and put it in real. And help when you can. Any other question?
Do you think that, sorry, do you think there'll ever be a future for North and South? Like,
What was that?
do you think like there'll ever be like a truce or like a future between North and like South Sudan?
Yes. When I went back to South Sudan, because I left South Sudan when I was so young and with bad memories. And when I went back to South Sudan and see people that are so determined, with everything they have, they're still proud of the village. They're still proud of the country. They're still proud of what they have. And they just do their daily thing. If you're a local farmer, you go into the farm and cultivate and do something that's going to help you tomorrow. And it feels me that, you know what, I can do better than that. I have education, I have knowledge, I also have ability to travel. Some of them don't have ability to come to the United States, or they don't have right document to come to the United States, or they can't do it because they don't know the language. They have no knowledge outside the village. And I say, you know what? These people are proud of what they do today. I should be more proud and do more. And that's what I've been trying to do. It's not easy sometimes, but going back to South Sudan helped me a lot. Because things change. Some of it is changed to be bad, but most of it is positive. After the war, local people like each other more. They learned that what they went through, it should be a good example to go, to put it in positive than negative. Any other?
Okay, how about one more question?
Okay. Go ahead.
What's your family life? Like, do you have any kids, a wife?
What's what?
Do you have kids? Do you have a wife?
Yes. So I'm married. I have 2 daughters, one of the wives, and I try to tell them this is what I went through, and my kids, they don't get it. They don't know. They don't get it. They're too young. So my oldest one, she's 7, and then the youngest one, 4. And the oldest one, sometimes you say, why do you have to go through that? And I said, okay, this was a war. And I gave her an example of war. Like, you see what is going on in Ukraine. And then she said, oh, okay. So the Russian president is a bad guy. And I said, yes, that's what happened. So Sudan president was a bad guy. And so it's still young, they're not going to get it. But I tried to tell them as much as I could. I only got into a plane when I was flying from a refugees camp in Kakuma refugees camp, northern Kenya, to Nairobi. It was a cargo plane, a plane that only carry goods that we were put in to come to Nairobi. And then I flew from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Amsterdam with KLM. That was the biggest flight, seat with a belt seat and everything that I ever took in my lifetime. And I was so happy to fly and see the world. When I came to Amsterdam, everything was shining. Nice, beautiful, light, every corner you could think of. And I thought, you know what? This is the world. I should be proud of it. And that helped. And I know most of you fly to California, to wherever. So my daughter started flying when she was like, 2 years old? And I was shocked. She was lucky. I didn't have that. So you guys are very, very lucky to have what you have. And if you go to the other part of the world and see what they go through and what they don't have, you will appreciate what you have the most when you come back to this country. Because it's a freedom to have to do what you do, to have education, to have no one knocking your door at the middle of the night, not in fear. Look for the job when you need it. Go to school where you want to. That is a privilege that you guys have, and a lot of people don't have it. I would just say thank you, and thank you again for being a great student.
Guys, thank you so much. A round of applause. Thank you so much, Bol. Guys, good job being a great audience. Let's give him one more round of applause before we leave.
Good.